Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another video brought to you by SeniorCatWellness.com. In today's material, we'll spend just a few minutes discussing the topic of your cat's tongue. The big day has finally arrived. Why do cats stick out their tongues, and what on earth is blepping? And why do cats blep? While cats often engage in various behaviors that are quite difficult to understand, especially when taken at face value, everything they do happens for a reason, and a tongue to the wind is certainly no different. Before we take a closer look at this interesting subject, let's first explore today's topic overview. Cats usually stick their tongue out when they're relaxed and content. They may also blep when they're using the flamen response to detect pheromones and scents. If the cat has food or pieces of a toy stuck in its mouth, it will stick out its tongue to expel that. Sometimes a cat will even do this when it's been poisoned and is trying to breathe easier. A less harmless reason will be if it's slightly overheated, so watch for symptoms of heat stroke. Unless your cat's tongue exposure is a bit excessive in nature and is met with a series of negative symptoms such as extreme panting, vomiting, and or diarrhea. This type of behavior is just harmless and a bit humorous. Having said that, we will obviously address every aspect here today. Before we get rocking and rolling, a quick shout out to the best viewers on the feline wing of the internet, the fine folks that run this machine, and that is you. Thank you for making Senior Cat Wellness what it is. We're nothing without loyal viewers, and these videos, mark my words, would sink like a rock without an audience. As I've said before, you make us look so much better than we really are. We are truly grateful for your support, your kindness, and for your time. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us. We are always appreciative, and we do hope to see you again in future content. Now, about those tongues in the air, what's that all about? Let's explore. By and large, cats rarely reveal their tongues. I mean, it's not like your cat is ever going to turn to you and say nanny nanny boo boo and stick out its tongue. Although, if that were to ever happen, you're probably in line for a good payday because a new and interesting star has been born. All silliness aside, cats, for the most part, exist with a closed mouth. Short of doing essential tasks, cats aren't known for just walking around with their tongue out. So, what are the reasons for this type of behavior? And in that moment, what purpose does it actually serve? First up, feeling relaxed. If your cat has been running a 400-meter Olympic race around your house and comes in for a quick pit stop, there's a chance the tongue will come out as your cat takes a break from the action. The tongue out posture could even continue during a quick nap. The jaw plays a vital role in keeping a cat's tongue in place. If your pet is fully relaxed, the tongue could be more or less just out there and about. The tongue can just essentially fall out. This is, in many ways, similar to a person sleeping with their mouth open. Under this context, this behavior is totally normal. Next up, expelling food. If your cat has eaten too much or has eaten too fast, it's not uncommon for the tongue to be exposed in an effort to either remove food or somewhat reel it in. This is not unlike human behavior, at least to some degree. Felines also display their tongue in an attempt to remove an unpleasant flavor. In terms of severity, this type of response is only an issue if your cat has something stuck in its mouth. Expelling an object that is not edible, like a toy, for instance, be mindful of the situation and make sure that your cat is simply expelling food rather than using the tongue as a last resort to remove a dislodged object. Up next, ingesting poison. Very, very serious. Cats are known to stick out their tongues if they have ingested something of a poisonous nature, a plant, a bug, a toxic food. The possibilities are unfortunately quite substantial. Once a cat begins to feel unwell, it will expose the tongue in an effort to potentially remove the taste, discard the residue, and get more air should the toxicity lead to swelling of the mouth and or the throat. Please seek immediate medical attention if your cat begins to exhibit an increase in saliva production, diarrhea, vomiting, twitching, and difficulty breathing. Common items such as onions, orange peels, garlic, chocolate, and caffeinated drinks can each pose a very significant threat. Next up, we have cooling down. If your cat has been exposed to extreme heat, like the best, brightest summer day, especially during those hot months of the year, Your pet could be exposing the tongue in an effort to cool down. While cats aren't known to pant, they will if they are overheated. While panting for a short time is normal within this context, if the panting continues for, say, 10, 20, or 30 plus minutes, this should be treated as very serious and as a medical emergency. Be mindful of excessive drooling, agitation and restlessness, trouble breathing, a bright red color to the tongue, and a deep red or very pale appearance to the gums. These all could be a sign of potential heat stroke. If your cat is in danger, move your pet to a cool setting immediately. Apply a small amount of cold water to the fur, and then prepare your cat accordingly for a trip to the vet. Symptoms of heat stroke can escalate quickly. If you suspect that the tongue out posture is more than just a reaction to just a hot summer day, take action immediately. There's tongue out in full, sort of like a dog. And then, well, there's something called blepping. Most cats will blep when they're relaxed or sleeping. Blepping in this fashion is rather unintentional behavior. However, a blep, which is essentially just the exposure of the tip of the tongue, can happen when your cat is very much wide awake. Blepping during the waking hours can often occur to what is known as in response to the Fleeman response. The Fleeman response. If your cat is attempting to investigate its surroundings, more specifically new surroundings, new things within the home, new things outside, they're just trying to make sense of the new object, trying to tell the difference between one scent and another. If that's the case, your pet will blep. Think of it as investigative blepping. Your cat will use the tip of their tongue to gather, interpret, and understand pheromones by using the roof of their mouth, by exposing the tip of the tongue and then promptly sticking it right back in. Felines can make sense of the world around them, sort of like a data analyzer. With all of the information gathered, your cat can determine whether another cat is nearby, where the cat is located, the sex of the feline, and whether they are a friend or foe. Cats can also blep and use the information to learn more about prey, predators, food, water, and just new objects in general, as we mentioned. For the most part, cats will blep when they're outside because the great outdoors is quite expansive and constantly changing compared to, say, your living room. However, if you were to bring a new piece of furniture home or even a toy, your pet could blip as a means to check it all out and make a record of its findings. Michael Jordan used to dunk with his tongue out. I wonder if he was recording data about his opponents. Maybe that's why he was so great. So, as you can see, whether we're talking about the tongue being fully exposed or blepping, the behavior is rather natural and normal. However, always be mindful of your cat's behavior and your cat's surroundings. Always make sure that your feline's tongue out posture isn't a response to something negative, such as an airway blockage, toxicity, or overheating. And on that note, I've been flapping my tongue for several minutes now, so it's time to put a kibosh on the video portion of our material. However, if you'd like more information about blepping, tongues out, the whole works, we do invite you to check us out at seniorcatwellness.com. At the conclusion of today's presentation, there you will find a full-length article dedicated to everything we've talked about here today and so much more. Are you currently watching us offsite? If so, we encourage you to click the initial link in the description box below. Said link will take you to all of the information. And until our paths cross again, and I certainly hope they do, we'd like to thank you once again for joining us today. Please have a wonderful day. All the best to you and yours, and we will talk to you later.